Hi, this is Diana and welcome to Crafted Sweetly. In this video I will show you how to make some clear cards using a Cricut. First of all, I will show you how to set up everything in Cricut Design Space since the Cricut will be doing most of the work. First we need to set up the card base, and I put in a square which I'm transforming into a rectangle. It is 4¼ inches by 11 inches long. So I'm setting under coordinates. You can set up the dimensions of the card, and I also want to set up exactly where it is on the canvas, and I'm setting all this at the line with 2 and then 2 the other way so that it's easy to know where it is. And I am changing this to white. Then we need to do the score line. Because this is acetate, I want the Cricut to do the score line on this card. So the scoring wheel will mark this halfway. You can click on shapes and score line, and then for this we're setting it halfway up the card. We started at 2 and then this is 5½ inches, so we need it at 7½ inches as far as the distance in, and then I also wanted 4¼ inches. So instead of playing around with moving the score line to the right position, I'm putting in the exact coordinates for this. So the score line is set in place. I am going to attach these two pieces together so that they don't move. The score line, that's where it needs to go. Now I will look for mandala, and I had it earlier. I'm looking for an owl. You can choose any of the images that are cut images. I haven't tried it with the draw images, but with the cut images you can also use the contour function with it. So I'm choosing a cut image instead of a draw. With a draw you can't alter the image to hide the contour, and you'll see later why we need the contour for this project. Here we go. This is the one. So this is a cut image of the two owls. Now if I take this and put it on the card, it's a little too big. I want it on half the card, so just resize it. And you can offset it, you can place it anywhere on that card. You kind of know where it will be because eventually we will attach these two pieces together, but you can play around with where you want it. Now if I do it on the left hand side, the card will open backwards, so I actually need to move it to the other side in order for the card to open properly. So you can set it up either at the top. You can center it. I'll show you later how to center this if you decide to center it, but you know, if you want it up higher, you can leave it there. Now I do want to duplicate this because I want to hide the contour. The only thing I want is the contour visible. And then we do need to duplicate this one more time. Up here again you can leave it off center. If you decide you want to center this, then you select the card base, and then we also need to select the image. And then what we do is we do a line, and we align it vertically. So then it shifts the image right in the center. Now it does look a little off to the left, so I just need to shift the owl a little bit to the right. So once you have all these images, then we do need to make sure that the owl is engraved right in that position, and we attach all these images. And you can see, well, actually the owl is under a cut, so what we need to do is make sure that the owl is engraved. So I'm selecting this, and instead of cut, we need to select engrave because I don't want it cut. I want to engrave that portion of it. So it's going to be an engraving, a scoring, and then a cutting for the card, and then select everything and attach. And then we'll have 2 additional cut pieces. Now I do have the upper portion in white and then the 2 outlines in black, but it's actually these will be white, and then what's white on the screen will be the acetate. So at this point we do select to make it, and you can see the 2 different boards. One will be for the acetate and one will be for the paper. So first we need a sheet of acetate, and I'm attaching this to a strong grip mat. And once you click make it, you will see the design on the 2 boards. It's going to score, engrave, and cut first on the acetate. So first we need to find the acetate as far as the material that we're using, and you can just type in acetate under materials. And just select it. So now you will see acetate, and we need the single scoring wheel first. So I like to store my tips in little tiny containers that are all marked, so I don't get them all confused and it's easier to find them. So this one has the housing unit as well as the tips, so you can see I have everything marked for the various tips. So we do need the scoring tool first, and then we'll use the engraving tip. So from the housing unit, you can press the top of it and then switch out the tips depending on what you need. And then in clamp B, you attach the tool that you actually need for that project. So I'm taking out the fine cutting tip, and then I'm going to put in the scoring wheel and just snap it in place. So now it is the scoring wheel that it needs, and you just press the arrow on your machine and it's preparing the machine to score the line where we'll fold the sheet. Once it's scored, the machine will prompt you to switch it to an engraving tip. So you can take the housing unit and press the little button at the top and switch it out to an engraving tip. Once it's finished engraving, then we need to do the cutting. So we need to switch the tip out again with a fine point blade. And this time we will be using the cardstock instead of the acetate. So we're finished with the acetate portion of it. So we do need to change from acetate to cardstock so that the machine knows what it's cutting. Now once you attach the cardstock to a light grip mat, you can enter that in the machine and it will cut out 2 identical patterns that have just the contour. Now we need to remove the acetate card from the strong grip mat, and we will fold this in half. So you can see that the acetate was engraved with that design. I'm using a bone folder to sharpen the crease to make sure that the card stays flat. To make sure that the design stands out more, I'm going to use some alcohol ink in the engraved portion of it. So you need whatever colors of alcohol ink, and I kind of spread it all over the design. I'm going to be wiping off the excess using blending solution, but you can just pour the alcohol ink where you want. Now you could use, for this I'm just using the brown, and then for the branch, the leaves, you can use some green. You can use some green alcohol ink. I'll be using a Spectrum Noir pen just to show you that possibility as well. But just make sure that all the engraved portions have some alcohol ink. And then using blending solution, I'm wiping off the excess. So it looks a little messy at the moment, but with blending solution it really cleans up. And it's a baby wipe that I'm putting this on. And just continue wiping again where the alcohol ink went into the engraving portion. It should be darker. If you find that there are areas that didn't get dark enough, you can repeat the process to make sure that it goes in. And then wipe away the excess again. Working on a piece of white cardstock or scrap piece of paper makes it easier to see where you need to clean the card. As I mentioned, for the little leaves, I'm going to use some green Spectrum Noir pen marker. It's just easier because it's just a little surface area, and I'll do the same thing, wipe away the excess. I just want the engraved portion to be a little greener. And now I will be attaching the two white outlines. One will be, the purpose of it is to make the design stand out more. If you have narrow areas, I'm using score tape. It's a little harder to get into the little skinny areas with the double-sided tape, so I'm using some score tape in those sections. And this is 1/8 of an inch wide, so it's pretty narrow. So this first one will be with the double-sided sticky tape up, because I'm attaching it to the inside of the card, so not directly to the back of the design. We don't want to see the double-sided tape. So this one's going inside, and I just close the card so that it sticks to it right where the design is on the other side. So if you flip it over, you can see that the design stands out more. And the second piece is going to go to the back side of the card completely. And this card, the purpose of this one is so that the person giving the card can leave a message on this portion of it. So line up everything so that they're completely on top of each other. One is on the inside of the card, one is on the back side of the card, so that way you can see the design. If you were to write on the inside, you would see it through the image, so the inscription would go back here. So you just add a sentiment to this and you're pretty much done with the card. So this is your clear card using a Cricut. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is an example of a horse that I did, same exact process. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, please comment below. Don't forget to share, and please subscribe to the channel for more fun projects. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.